Number 7, the 5K run. We will start here at the North Park of the Alliant Energy Center. We have a packed house here for you, not only in the stadium, but here in the booth. I'm Sean Woodland with Stacy Tovar. Nikki Brazier and Mike Arsenault are down on the competition floor, and we also have subject matter expert from aerobic capacity, our good friend Chris Hinshaw, in the booth. We'll hear from him in just a second. But coming into the day, it's Emma Lawson, who is your overall leader. Started off well, then had a couple finishes outside the top 10, but she is back on track.
She sure is. 6 tests down, top
Lawson is
15 in every single test. She's first in the ride, 15th in the pig chipper, 13th in the inverted medley. The alpaca redo, she's 4th, 9th in the ski bag, and Helena last night taking a 5th.
And it is Emma Lawson who sits atop the overall standings, but not by much. 477 points. She's only 19 up on Alexis Raptis, who has led for the majority of this competition, and Laura Horvath is just 20 points back. And Alex Gazan is only 27 points back. So a lot needs to be decided here over these final 2 days as far as the podium race is concerned on the men's side. And Roman Krennikov has been the picture of consistency throughout this entire competition.
100 points already in his favor. We've got 2 more days of competition though. 6 tests down, 4th in the ride, 1st in the pig chipper, 5th in the inverted medley. The alpaca redo took a ginormous 1st, 9th in the ski bag, and then 5th in Helena.
And right now, Roman Krennikov has really separated himself from his fellow competitors. He's the only guy who has every finish inside the top 10. He has a 100-point cushion on Jeff Adler, who sits in second place. Adler's only 11 clear of Chandler Smith for second. Jay Crouch, he's been a surprise. He sits in fourth. And it's Brent Fikowski rounding out the top 5 with 405 points. Test number 7 for the individuals. It has been programmed more than 100 times on CrossFit.com. It's a 5K run.
Another classic benchmark. It doesn't get any simpler than this. A 5K run.
See who can do it the fastest. Recipe for success here, presented by Trifecta.
Build your pace each lap. That first lap is going to be a feel for it. Keep your feet moving throughout. There's a lot of uneven surfaces.
I completely agree that you must have perfect pacing strategy in order to get to the edge of your limits in this workout.
Let's bring in Nikki Brazier down on the field.
Guys, a little bit of a shakeup in the women's leaderboard to mention this morning. Last night in the Coliseum, we saw Ellie Turner clearly struggling. She had some tape on her back. She was jogging with a little bit of a limp. Seems like she may be struggling with a back injury of some sort. So at the end of competition last night, she actually went over to the competition team and withdrew. That allowed this woman right here, Kelly Baker, who was sitting in that 31st spot, now to move up into the cut line. I talked to her before this run is getting going, and she said she'd actually already made peace with getting cut, so everything from here on out is just a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Nikki. All the athletes, men and women, will be running this together, not competing against each other. The men will be in front, 2 rows of them, with the highest ranked men in the front, and then 2 rows of women behind them. And we are underway.
How about that start? Roman Krennikov right next to Jeff Adler. 1 and 2 side by side.
The other host is out front as well. Talked to Jeff Adler yesterday. He says he's going to try and win this thing.
I find it interesting. I don't think that Roman Krennikov even has a watch on. No gear. The guy's just going completely raw, getting after it. Roman Krennikov is a front runner. He loves being in front. He loves to lead.
Well, there are no markers out on the course, this we know, Chris, so why not just go for it? Just lead the pack and lead the way.
Oh boy, you know what? There's still so much work to be done. I mean, one of the things that everybody is concerned about that is running is the neurological damage from this event, knowing they have to go into an Olympic total tonight.
And don't forget test number 8, the intervals that's coming up after this. But Chris, when you look at a 5K, obviously everyone knows a 400, they know how to pace an 800. What's the best way, in your experience, to attack this race?
They've got an opportunity for about the first 10, 12 seconds with that phosphagen energy system to really go out and get that open air. That's what you need to do, and then settle. The key in this event, you must be patient for that 60 to 90 seconds to allow the aerobic system to get warm. The kiss of death will be you're going to throttle too hard and you're going to go over to the limit, and now you're going to end up shutting down and underperforming. Patience.
The athletes will make 3 trips around the circuit here. They'll enter into the North Park at the completion of every lap. Mike Arsenault is down there with more on the fans who will be lining the course. Mike?
Thank you very much, Sean. It's currently 73 degrees Fahrenheit, 23 degrees Celsius, so the most comfortable daytime conditions we've had so far this week. Another cool aspect of test number 7 is the access for the fans. The athletes are running right by us through the middle of the RV campground. They'll do this each and every lap, so these fans will get up close and personal. The most difficult part for the athletes will be avoiding the smell of cooking bacon through the RV park. We'll see if they can avoid that. I definitely, for one, will not be able to resist.
Thank you, Mike. As Roman Krennikov, Jeff Adler, Lazar Jukic is up there, along with Pat Vellner. I believe that's Uldis Upniks there on the
So they're right now running up the steepest part of this entire course. The course goes from really the bottom where the road was. It rises about 7 meters, and then it immediately drops back down again. But if there's a move to be made, that's an opportunity on that hill. Mike mentioned about the weather. The weather is really good, but there is about an 8 to 9 mile an hour wind, and unfortunately that wind is going to be in the face of these athletes for the bulk of the time when they're up on that grassy section.
A G-Shock is giving you the chance to win a new G-Shock watch, a CrossFit Level 1 seminar, and more than $400 in CrossFit swag. Scan the QR code on your screen now. Terms and conditions apply.
As the athletes are making their way off of that grassy, I would say probably 200, 300 meter trip there, they're coming onto some loose gravel, a little bit of loose rock before they find some pavement again. Having run it, I would say the grassy area is about a 300 meter stretch. This loose gravel is about another 300 before they make their way back into North Park Stadium here.
This course has been perfectly designed. So the last 400 meters is slightly downhill, and it's going to encourage these athletes to really push. And that, at the end of this event, could be highly detrimental. You've got to be thinking strategic here. There's a lot of work yet to be done at the CrossFit Games.
I anticipate, though, Chris, after they get through this first lap, because the athletes know nothing about this course. They've seen pictures and that's about it. Unless they've got somebody else doing a little scavenger hunt for them. After this first lap, I do anticipate paces to kind of increase a little bit through the second and the third lap.
Agreed. These athletes have had plenty of people that have gone out and they know this course backwards and forwards. They know the actual distance. By the way, speaking of distance, I did talk to J-Mac about the measurement of this course, and they wheeled it 3 separate times. So this course, it's spot on based upon their wheel. I want to point out what I just saw. Jeffrey Adler is coaxing Roman Krennikov.
He sure is. Let's not forget, in Event 10 in 2021, it had a 3-mile run broken up into 1.5-mile increments with some toe to bar sprinkled in there. Adler took 8.
Lap 1 of 3 is down for the leaders for the men. It looks like Emily Rolfe is your leader for the women. She's ahead of Justin Medeiros as they exit the stadium here at the North Park. Emily Rolfe is on the right side of your screen. No surprise that she's in front here.
Absolutely. Emily won the Ruck Run in 2019. She also won Event 10, which was the 1-mile run sprinkled with the toe to bar there in 2021. Running is her jam.
And Rolfe is looking to move her way back up the overall standings. She was in a podium position early on, but since finishing 7th in the inverted medley, she's gone 30th, 33rd, and then a 14th last night in Helena. So looking to score some points here in test number 7. You can see the fastest 5K times in the bottom left-hand part of your screen as every division completed this test. 17:36.03 seconds from Adam DeJong in the 35 to 39-year-old division, the best time that we have seen. Now you mentioned Jeffrey Adler. As you take a look at Brent Fikowski and Nick Matthew, and you see Emily Rolfe is your female leader. Behind her is Noah Olson.
Look at Emily Rolfe. Look at her power output. Look at the amount of power that she's able to put into every step, and compare it to the men that she's running next to. The men look heavy. They look like they're sinking into every foot strike, almost like they're running in soft sand. That's the difference between the two of them. She is right now on her game. She looks amazing to me.
And here's the deal, guys. Okay, in that 2021 event, the event 10, tote bar and running, there's no Tia, there's no Haley, there's no Christy Aramo, there's no Kristen Holte, there's no Sam Briggs, but there is a Gabby Magala. But however, she took first. The next person in line is anybody's ball game here.
The second of 3 laps here for the 5K. Jeff Adler has moved in front of Roman Krennikov. And we talked to Jeff Adler last night after he took Helena, and he said that he intentionally baited Roman into going faster than he wanted to in the second round of that test. And he knew in that round, he knew then that he was going to win.
I had a chance to catch up with Jeffrey Adler after the bike event, and he noticed in the most difficult section of the bike event where you had to push it up that hill before crossing that second hurdle, that every single time on that, Roman got dropped. That hill hurt Roman, and Jeff knows that.
He's such a smart athlete. He really is a smart athlete.
I mean, I think, Stacy, that was the key to your success too, right? You were smart. You used, like,
you took those moments as an advantage, for sure. Yeah, you were definitely scoping out the field and eyeing your athletes, eyeing competitors.
Perfect Hydration is the official water partner of the 2023 Noble CrossFit Games. Scan the QR code on your screen for more.
So what I'm looking for here is just look at Roman and the heaviness of every step that he's taking. It's lethargic almost, and you want to look at the other athletes and compare who has that spring-like effect, that they have jump, they've got that bounciness in them. That means that their neuromuscular system is firing, they're sequencing muscles properly, and that is the athlete that's the threat. I mean, look at Roman's posture. The head is dropping, the shoulders are rolling in. There's fatigue mounting. Same thing with Vellner, right? They're starting to hinge at the waist. They're hinging at the waist because they're trying to change the muscle groups that are allowing them to run.
Top 5 of the men are Jeff Adler, Jelle Hosta, Lazar Jukic, then Roman Krennikov, and Pat Vellner. And Jeff Adler in second place has a 100-point deficit he's got to make up on Roman Krennikov. He can't do that in one test, but he needs to start chipping away at it. And right now he's getting a little help from Hosta and Jukic. Chris, what's the first thing that you see? Now you mentioned some things that you were looking at, but the first thing that you see that lets you know that, all right, someone's starting to struggle a little bit?
Well, first of all, what you have to notice is that there's been a dramatic acceleration in intensity, speed, and look who's driving that right now. Adler is no longer turning around, seeing who's with him, right? He was toying with the field, in my opinion, in that first lap, right? It was almost like a game for him. Now, I think that he's putting on his competitive mask and he wants to go. But remember, Adler's strategic. He's thinking of points. And if he just blows up and goes off in front, the athletes behind him will go, just let him go. So he's trying to coax people because Adler wants the advantage in the next events.
There's your women's leader, Emily Rolfe, who at the last check was 11th overall.
That's incredible. I ran into Emily a couple of days ago and she said, this is my event.
Let's send it down to Nikki Brazier on the field.
Guys, you can hear it, and if you pay close attention, it almost seems like the athletes pick up a little speed as they run through the North Park here. The crowd is going crazy as the athletes re-enter the stadium here, and that's part of what makes this course really special here, is running through this section of the North Park. But you gotta wonder if that little extra energy boost is messing up some of their plans going into this. Chris, I'm wondering, are some of the athletes a little bit hurt from the last couple days? Is that affecting their pace as they go through this 5K?
You know what's interesting is last night after that sandbag lift, I went into the athlete warm down area and they're destroyed. They're so destroyed, and this event scares them more than any of the other events. And then of course they announced box jumps and then the Olympic total today. No, these athletes for the first time have fear. I want to point out something that we saw in the transition here after they passed this and they're now starting the second lap. There's water available to these athletes. Jeffrey Adler was the only one that didn't take water.
I noticed that, Chris. I did notice that. Hey, but let's not sleep on Lazar, guys, and Hostek.
Yep.
You know, Lazar won event 10, which included, again, those toes to bar and the 3-mile trek. Uldis, I don't know where Uldis is, but he took third in that event. He took third in the ruck in 2019, first in the shuttle to overhead in 2022, ninth in Helena. So he's got a bit of an engine on him. Maybe he's saving it for this last lap here.
Right, same thing Ducic. Ducic last year put the hammer on Adler, right, in that capital event and hurt Adler. And so you have to respect that.
We heard Nikki mention the fans in the North Park here. And Noah Olson, as you would expect, acknowledging them as he worked his way through the North Park. Olson making his 10th straight appearance here at the CrossFit Games. And I talked to him about a week or so before he made his trip out here to Madison. He said he's focused more on having fun and enjoying the experience. We also saw Chandler Smith a while ago. He was lurking behind Vellner and Krennikov. Remember that Chandler Smith comes in third place overall, 432 points. So he's looking to put some distance between himself and the men chasing him for that third and final podium spot. You see Chandler there in the background. Let's send it down to Mike Arsenault out there on the course.
Well, our top two men on leaderboard, Roman Krennikov and Jeffrey Adler. Adler looks very comfortable. He's pretty much led this race thus far, wire to wire. Conversely, Krennikov trying to shake out his arms, just gulping air. It looks very uncomfortable, and we're seeing the distance between Adler and Krennikov start to spread out a little bit, and more importantly, starting to see some male athletes get in between them, which is key for Adler to try and chase down Krennikov over these final 2 days.
That's an incredible observation, because remember, the CrossFit Games is an endurance competition, and you have to have great endurance. And one of the main factors in endurance is your ability to recover, right? It's a major measure of aerobic fitness. And if Roman Krennikov is struggling now, that is going to show his inability to recover going into the next event. Remember, we're only halfway.
Now Jelle Hosta has made a move on Jeff Adler for the lead here.
But let's not count Adler out there. Won Helena last night and applying both shorter distance and longer distance here today with this 5K. My girl Emily Rolfe coming in 15th overall after her second lap. Rolfe taking second in the ride, 12th in the pig chipper, 7th inverted medley, 30th. The alpaca redo, 33rd ski bag, and then 14th last night in Helena.
And there is Emily Rolfe, your leader right now for the women.
Looks great.
Just pushing through the floor, just pushing that ground away behind her.
And very relaxed. So you know when athletes get fatigued because the shoulders gradually start to rise, and that, unfortunately, that creates a restriction in the leg's ability to move.
And behind her, you can see Katrin Davis' daughter, Ariel Lowen, Gabriella, our leader, Emma Lawson.
Well, Emily Rolfe on the left side, if you remember last year after the bike to work event, she had to withdraw and had to go have emergency surgery because of a blood clot in her arm. And at that point, after that event, she went to the medical crew and said, "My arm is blue. I don't know what's going on here." And then that's what triggered the whole surgery and the scramble that ensued after that. And yesterday, or Thursday after the first test, she went to the medical team and said, "Look, my arm's pink. It looks fine." Yellow Host is going to be the first man in, and Yellow Hosta is going to take the 5K and lock up 100 points. And the rookie looking to move inside the top 5 here. And here comes Jeff Adler. Adler's going to finish second. And Roman Krennikov is only going to surrender 3 points to Jeff Adler as Krennikov found a second gear to get himself across the finish line. And now Lazar Jukic will be fourth.
And where's Patrick Velder at?
Here comes Brent Fikowski, Chandler Smith. Jay Crouch is going to pass Smith, and then Uldis Upniks is across.
And here comes Will Morad. Where's Velder?
And here comes Pat Velder. And now there's Sam Quant. Now Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson trying to hold off James Sprague. And here comes Emily Rolfe, who's going to take this test for the women. Justin Medeiros is going to try to sprint past Olsen. He's got him. He's going to run out of time to get Bailey Martin. Will Morad is in as well. Uldis Upniks came across. And there's Luke Parker. Now Heinrich Happelainen is coming in. Yonakoski is in, Ant Haynes. Katrin Davidsdottir is going to come across, followed by Ariel Lowen. So a great finish there for Katrin Davidsdottir. And Emma Lawson is across. There's Sydney Wells, who was the last woman to survive the cut. Danielle Brandon is in, and now David Shirunki. Now Dallin Pepper. And now Emma Carey sprinted to finish. Laura Horvath is in. I believe that was Alexia Williams and Paige Semenza who came in.
We are at the 19-minute mark.
There's Elisa Fuliano. And now Jamie Simmons behind her. Shelby Neal is in. Spencer Panchik, Alex Gazan. So it's Yella Hosta with the top time for the men is now, it's Emma Tall working her way into the North Park here. 16:39.68 seconds for him. He's going to get the win. On the women's side, we're still waiting for the official times for them, but we do know that it was Emily Rolfe who came across first, and I believe Katrin Davidsdottir was second. Now here comes Annie Thorisdottir making her way into the North Park. Former two-time champion. Has competed in 3 different decades at the CrossFit Games. That's absolutely incredible that she's been able to accomplish that. There's Moritz Fiebig behind her. More finishers coming in now. There's Amanda Barnhart. Amanda Barnhart came in 25th place overall. We do have another cut tonight, down to 20. So right now she's on the wrong side of that. But we do have the Olympic total coming up tonight. That's a test she should do very well in. And now here's Bailey Rail. We have 3 men who went sub-17, Hosta, Adler, and Krennikov. And as far as the women go, we are still waiting on their final times to be updated.
Now keep in mind our age group qualifiers, our fastest male, Adam DeJong, in the 35 to 39 age group, 17:36. Second fastest male, Caden Hogan, 16 to 17 age group, 17:46. Our fastest females come to us, Mira Varga, 14 to 15 age group, 19:08. And the second fastest female in my age division here, 35-39. And the winner of my age group, Lori Clement, 19:57. Impressive times, Chris, impressive times.
Extremely.
Looking over her shoulder, she's on that wheel.
Now Alexia Williams is coming in. It was Carolyn Stanley who finished earlier. And now Christine Kohlenbrander is across.
When did you do it? Over there?
Yellow Hosta was your fastest athlete out of anybody here. And the rookie from Belgium picks up his first career test victory. Emily Rolfe is going to win for the women, and Emily Rolfe is with Nikki Brazier.